Hi, gang, it's Adam.
And Patrick.
Coming up on today's episode, we share our spoiler-free review of Disney's latest live-action adventure film, Jungle Cruise. As always, we cover the latest Disney news and close out the show with some quick D. All that and more on today's episode of Gays Do the D.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Oh, hello, Patrick Kungaloosh Kazaki.
Ooh, so exotic. Hello, Adam Bumblebee Hummel.
Okay. You know, I didn't know, and now I know. You know?
I do know.
But our Tweedles don't know, but you will know, Tweedles. You will know.
You will find out. Tweedles out there, it's a Friday evening. We're a little kooky. Adam's drinking a margarita from a can, I might add, and I'm drinking wine from a box. So here we are.
Oh, look at that. Look at us. A can in a box. It's a Friday night. We don't normally record on a Friday night, so this is officially GDTD After Hours.
That's right. After Hours, off the rails, as per usual, coming at ya, Drunky McDrunkerton.
Patrick, how are you doing other than Drunky McDrunkerton?
I wish I was drunk. I'm not drunk. I am well, though. I am well. There is, again, a haze over Minnesota, I tell you, that is affecting my eyesight.
Oh, so it's gone from respiratory issues to your eyesight now.
It's both. It's traveling and expanding.
I'm sorry to hear that. Is there anything I can do for you?
You can put out those fires, Adam. You can put out those fires.
I'm on it. I'm really good at putting out fires and starting them, but mostly putting them out.
You are the Drew Barrymore of the Midwest.
That's right. That's what I'm known as.
How are you, sir? How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Yes, I've got my margarita in a can. That means anything can happen in this episode.
Oh my goodness, the puns are already flowing just as quickly as the liquor is.
And Tweedles, how are you doing?
I wish they could answer back. We should do like a live Zoom with some very special Tweedles so they can watch us just be absolute idiots while recording the podcast.
Having a good week? Starting off okay? Having a bad week? Just let us know.
Vote with those raising hand emojis if you're having a good week.
Well, Patrick, we've reached a new month in this calendar year.
I know this sounds very cliche, but it is August and it feels wrong that it is already August.
Well, you know, the older you get, the faster time seems to fly. So you're getting of that age where time's really flying away. Before you know it, you're going to be a geriatric. You're going to be in an old person's home. You're going to be staring out the window, wondering where your family is.
It's true. That was dark. That was real dark. I feel like I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be 32. What a shock.
32.
I'm only 28, Adam.
Okay. But you know, Patrick, I was curious. You know how months celebrate certain things or recognize certain things?
I don't know what you mean, so please explain yourself.
You know how certain months are like this month. Like this month, we're celebrating, you know, there's Asian American Heritage Month. There's
Sure.
Black History Month.
Pride Month.
And I was like, what's August all about? So I did some research.
What is August all about? That's the age-old question.
There's some really great recognitions in August. Black Business Month.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
National Eye Exam Month. That'd be good for you right now.
I do need an eye exam, in fact.
National Immunization Awareness Month. Hello, everybody.
Well, how timely and topical is that?
Yes. It's also National Sandwich Month and National Panini Month. I don't know how those two happen to be recognized in the same month.
Do you know what this tells me? This tells me that Adam had the day off today.
Just half the day.
And you got so bored that you looked up what happens in August.
Last but not least, Patrick, August is Romance Awareness Month.
You know what? You got to be aware of that romance. You never know when it's going to happen. You must always be aware of it.
Always be on alert. Romance can occur at any moment.
Romance may appear closer in the mirror than it actually is. Well, thank you for those fun bits of August trivia, Adam.
That's why I'm here.
Do you know what August also brings us, Adam?
What's that?
It is time that we select a new organization in which to donate our hard-earned dollars.
Already?
Already. And by hard-earned, I mean we just sit here and let the cash flow in.
And by cash, you mean pennies.
No, we donated a substantial amount of money for our last organization, which was the LGBTQ Freedom Fund. But Adam, we have selected a new organization in which to give those dollars to. Why don't you tell our Tweedles all about it?
Happy to. So from August through October, we'll be donating all of the proceeds that we receive from our merch sales on our website to Trans Lifeline.
Excellent, excellent. And for those who don't know what Trans Lifeline is, it is a trans-led organization that connects trans people to the community, support, and resources they need to survive and thrive.
They're also big on rhyming.
They are big on rhyming, indeed.
They also address common issues for the trans community like suicidality and trauma, non-consensual hospitalization and medical discrimination, economic oppression, racism, xenophobia, isolation, criminalization, and ableism. They are busy, busy, busy.
They are indeed. They are indeed. So in addition to all of that, the Trans Lifeline also offers a hotline, which is a peer support phone service, which is available in both English and Spanish. That's very important. It is run by trans people for trans and questioning peers. You can call if you need someone who is also trans identifying to talk to, even if you're not in crisis or if you're not sure if you're trans. They also offer a family and friends hotline for those in need of help supporting a trans loved one.
That's right. And those who call speak to a trans or non-binary peer operator with full anonymity and confidentiality. Callers are also guaranteed no non-consensual active rescue, which means calling 911, emergency services, or law enforcement without the caller's consent.
That is actually very important. A lot of people don't feel safe calling these hotlines because they're not sure whether or not they'll be judged or even oppressed by having someone call the police without their knowing about it. So they are a very trustworthy organization in that sense.
You can reach the Trans Lifeline in the U.S. by calling 877-565-8860 and in Canada by calling 877-330-6366.
Thank you, Canada. And you can also learn more about Trans Lifeline, or you can donate directly to them by going over to translifeline.org. So swing by that website. Please check them out. They offer a ton of different services we haven't even mentioned. And as I mentioned, all of the proceeds that we receive from our merch store, which you can find at gaysdothed.com, will be donated to Trans Lifeline through this October. That is absolutely correct. 100% of our proceeds. And once again, to learn more about this amazing organization, go to translifeline.org. And to learn more about Disney history, all you got to do is listen to Patrick right now. You have teed me up flawlessly, Adam. Thank you so much. Thank you, Margarita, I imagine, as well. I wish my name was Margarita now. It is today. It is today. Well, let's get into it. Why don't we? 11 years ago, Tweedles, on August 5th, 2010, going back to last week's episode, actually, one of my Fab Five themed restaurants, Via Napoli, officially opened in Epcot's Italy Pavilion, operated and run by the Patina Restaurant Group. I did not know that this restaurant, it was actually that young. 11 years is quite young, actually, for a Disney restaurant these days. It does give off the vibe of having always been there, doesn't it? It does. It's that old world Southern Italy feel. Those Imagineers, they nailed that. They nailed it, and then they scaffolded it, and then they plastered it and put some pizza in it. You went literal with that, and I appreciate it, Patrick. I appreciate you. Moving on, 23 years ago, on August 2nd, 1998, guests aboard the Disney Cruise Line ship, the Disney Magic, would become the very first guests to step foot on Disney's private island, Castaway Cay. The island, Adam, is 225 nautical miles from Port Canaveral, Florida, and it stretches 3.1 miles long and 2.2 miles wide. A fun fact, the island was used to film the movie Splash.
Did not know that.
Did not know that either. Yeah, when Tom Hanks meets Daryl Hannah as the mermaid for the very first time, that is on Castaway Cay.
Oh, I should have said spoiler alert. Daryl Hannah is a mermaid in Splash.
And in real life, I like to think.
With that hair, of course she is.
Drink your juice, Shelby. Daryl Hannah, I love you. Nope, nothing.
Wasn't that Julia Roberts?
Well, yeah, but Daryl Hannah was also in Steel Magnolias.
I recall now, she had like cat eye glasses, did she not?
Yes, I believe her character's name was Truvy.
You know what I like to do, Patrick, is take a little Truvy and just sprinkle it on my cereal in the morning. It's a great replacement for sugar.
Oh, that is delicious. Delicious. Also delicious is 88 years ago, Adam. On August 3rd, 1933, the very first Mickey Mouse watch was sold at the Chicago Exposition. The watch was produced by the Ingersoll Waterbury Watch Company, which incidentally was on the brink of bankruptcy at the time. The watch, of course, was a huge success and ended up saving the Ingersoll Waterbury Company. The initial price for the Mickey Mouse watch was $3.25, but was lowered to $2.95 to accommodate a wider market. Now, as a fun fact, there are still working original run watches out there in the world, but they aren't worth as much as you would think. Now, I'm not sure what the actual going rate is right now, but the timepiece de resistance, Adam, that everyone wants is actually the original pocket watch that was produced and sold shortly after the wristwatch.
It's about time you mentioned this moment in Disney history.
Hey, we're just full of time puns, aren't we?
Aren't we, though? You know what I like to think about when I think of a pocket watch? I think of an overweight gentleman in ye old days laughing like,
like the walrus from Alice in Wonderland.
Exactly, the walrus. Exactly that, yes. And he says things like, bully for you.
Poppycock and balderdash.
Exactly that, Patrick.
Exactly. It's the walrus, and it's also Father Darling from Peter Pan.
Exactly that, too.
I'm so aware of overweight gentlemen with pocket watches.
Some call you a collector, but I won't.
And by overweight, I mean perfectly weighted gentlemen.
So PC. In this day and age, Patrick, you fit right in.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And with that, we are closing the vault on this week in Disney history.
And just like that, we're on to the Disney news.
It is about time for the news.
Just how many puns do you think we can make in this episode, Patrick?
About time? A lot. Probably a lot. Let me see if I can put my hands on it. Because the minute hand in the...
No, I got it. I was thinking of another pun, but I'm out. I'm tapping out.
So two is the number.
As those of us who have traveled to Disneyland Resort know, the official app for the resort contains many time-saving ways to enhance your visit. Back on time, Patrick.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Give me a minute and I'll move on.
It's true what they say. Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Guests of the Disneyland Resort have the ability to link park tickets, view menus, mobile order food and drinks from select locations, make dining reservations, view attraction wait times, park maps, and hours of operation, and request to join those very important virtual queues. But the app is receiving some upgrades. First up, app users will discover a new personalized home screen. There is now a personal greeting that says, "Hello, your name."
I'm going to change my name to Your Name.
Your Name and Margarita, the hosts of Gaze to the D podcast. And you can choose one of your favorite characters to add to the main page banner by clicking on the Mickey circle icon. Earlier this spring, the Disneyland Resort introduced a new online check-in service for hotel guests to save them time upon arrival at the front desk. Coming soon, it will be even easier, as guests can simply go straight to their room with online check-in and digital key. To use the digital key, you simply need to link your hotel reservation to your Disney account in the Disneyland app or online, complete online check-in up to 5 days prior to arrival, or check in at the front desk upon arrival to complete the traditional process. Upon arrival, once your room is assigned and ready, you can access your room and locate your hotel room number within the digital key feature by tapping the Unlock Door button after signing in to your Disney account on the Disneyland app. If you completed online check-in, you can use your digital key to bypass the front desk and go straight to your room. Tap the Unlock Door button and then hold your mobile device against the door lock. A Bluetooth-enabled device with the latest version of the Disneyland app is required. The digital key also allows guests to charge select dining and shopping to their hotel room from the Disneyland app. That is so dangerous because you really have no idea how much you're spending. They can also access designated hotel areas requiring a key, such as the pools and fitness centers. You must be signed in to use your Disney account on the Disneyland app to access the digital key feature. The Disney account holder, who is the primary guest on the reservation, is the only guest who can activate the digital key. Guests will still be able to request traditional hotel keys from the front desk if needed. Now, Patrick, this is already in place in Walt Disney World. Did you use this on your last trip to that resort?
I did use it. I used it a few times with the My Disney Experience app, I believe is what you're talking about. All of that is available within there because Magic Bands are slowly starting to shift away in Walt Disney World.
Did you find it convenient?
It was easy to use for sure, especially if you have an iPhone, because you can actually link it to your My Wallet in your iPhone and you don't even have to open the app. So you can just hold your phone up to the scanners. I must say, I'm always confused of why Disneyland and Disney World have two separate operating systems for their guests when they're in the parks. It seems strange to me.
Do we know if Disneyland is going to be adopting the Genie app that's coming as well?
We have not been told that specifically, but it would make sense if they just married it all into one thing. I know they have different systems, so maybe that's why they need to keep it very different for transactions and things like that. But I would imagine that the Disney Genie app would be universal, but you know, who can say? Who can say?
What does Universal have to do with this?
Hey-o. As many of our Tweedles know, Disney is doing everything in their power to keep the parks open and safe for its guests and its cast members. In a recent announcement, the Disney company has decided to require cast members to be vaccinated against COVID-19. In the first phase of this, all salaried and non-union hourly employees in the U.S. working at any Disney site will need to be fully vaccinated. Any employees who are not currently vaccinated will have 60 days to comply. Discussions are also currently underway with the unions who represent all other cast members. Additionally, in accordance with Orange County Mayor Jerry Denning's recent executive order declaring a local emergency, Disney World is reinforcing its mask mandate for all guests and cast members while indoors. This will include all transportation, restaurants, shops, restrooms, and attractions, even if it is a primarily outdoor attraction. Once you reach the main marquee entrance to an attraction, you must put on your mask. A few interesting things to note. As of this recording, Disney is still selling masks at a deeply discounted rate. So if you are interested in purchasing one, you can go online or purchase them in the parks. It's very smart, Disney. Very smart move. It should also be noted that both Universal and SeaWorld in Orlando have decided not to reinforce a mask policy, and they will not be requiring employees to be vaccinated.
I can't get behind this. This really steps on my freedoms as an American citizen.
Oh, that hurts my feelings even to hear that, Adam. I hate it.
No, this is great. You know, it's going to take these big companies like Disney making these mandates in order for the rest of the country who's not vaccinated to catch up, and for even smaller businesses to then adopt these kind of procedures. Like, it just needs to kind of, I guess, roll out this way.
Yeah, I'll go a step further and say that we probably lifted a lot of these mandates a little too early. We were quick to pull the trigger, and by we, I mean Disney and the rest of the world as well. So I'm glad to see that they are stepping up to the plate and making these changes quickly and in accordance with the CDC. I would also go a step further and say, why not ask your guests to bring in a vaccination card to get into the park?
Listen, you're for that. I'm for that. I would love that, but there's just so many people that would be against that.
Oh, 100%. I totally understand. And I know that this is a split issue for sure. But listen, I want everyone to live, turns out.
Comedian Tiffany Haddish and Oscar nominee Lakeith Stanfield are in negotiations to star in Haunted Mansion, the live-action cinematic reboot based on the iconic Disney attraction. As we previously reported, Justin Simien, director of Dear White People and Bad Hair, will be directing Haunted Mansion, making the film his big-budget studio debut. 2016's Ghostbusters writer Katie Dippold is working on the script. According to a July 28th The Hollywood Reporter article, the story will follow a family that moves into the titular mansion. Stanfield would play a widower who once believed in the supernatural but is now a rather lifeless tour guide in New Orleans' French Quarter. Haddish would play a psychic, okay, that's kind of funny, hired to commune with the dead. The project is set to shoot in Louisiana this fall and is not connected, thank God, to the 2003 film that starred Eddie Murphy. You know, I haven't seen it, but I have not heard great things. Patrick, how are you feeling about this?
First of all, I will actually say that I did like the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion movie. So there, Adam. So there.
Are you nervous this won't live up to it?
Let's be clear. There's no way it can't surpass it, actually. That's very clear. I'm excited. I love Tiffany Haddish. I think she's going to be amazing in this. I'm here for sort of an updated Oda Mae Brown character, maybe.
You in danger, girl.
Exactly that. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be fun.
Lakeith Stanfield is quite the get if they do get him, because he's such a grounded kind of actor's actor. So this could be really interesting.
Yeah, it'll be a good pairing because she is bonkers, as everyone knows, in the best way possible.
Just like us, a great pairing.
No one's ever said that. The Walt Disney Company recently announced the companies that were selected to participate in the 2021 Disney Accelerator. For those that don't know, the program is designed to accelerate the growth of innovative, smaller companies from around the world. Disney Accelerator provides mentorship and support from top Disney executives and access to co-working spaces at Disney. Each of the 8 companies selected will participate in this 3-month program, which will provide them unique access to Disney's leadership team. The companies that were selected are Attentive, a comprehensive mobile messaging platform that connects retail and e-commerce brands directly to their customers; Bambusser, an innovative live stream shopping experience; Camp, a company that creates experiential retail stores and online media destinations; Holler, a peer-to-peer messaging company that uses AI to deliver original content; Illumix, an augmented reality company that allows brands to create immersive experiences; Miko, this one's terrifying, a company that creates robots that are playful learning companions for children across 140 countries. I'm sure it's amazing, but it sounds like that's going to be what kills us all. Mojo Vision, a company that is developing Mojo Lens, the world's first augmented reality smart contact lens that would deliver invisible computing. And Play On Sports, a platform that delivers live and on-demand streaming of high school sports and activities across the country. A quote from Vice President of Corporate Innovation, David Min: "Since 2014, the Disney Accelerator has helped foster innovation within the Walt Disney Company and has made a significant impact on the future of technology and entertainment."
I have 2 questions for you, Patrick.
I'm sure you do. I have many questions, but here we go.
How did you get through naming all of those companies without laughing?
Rehearsal.
Those names, Patrick.
Yes, those names are a little off the wall, and the content they provide is a little freaky, little freaky.
Little freaky. My second question is, do you think we didn't dream big enough with our business model?
I can't believe that we didn't create the world's first augmented reality contact lens. It seems within our power.
Patrick, should we have a gossip sesh?
What's the tea?
These are all facts, everybody, and we don't normally report on stories like this, but it's so bonkers.
It's bonkers, it's scandalous, it's gays to the D.
You packaged that up so perfectly for me.
This is my audition reel for TMZ, actually.
Let me grab my oversized beverage and drink it through a straw as I report on this. Black Widow star Scarlett Johansson is suing the Walt Disney Company over its streaming release of Black Widow, which she said breached her contract and deprived her of potential earnings. According to a July 29th Associated Press article, Johansson, who also served as executive producer on the film, said her contract guaranteed an exclusive theatrical release. Johansson's potential earnings were tied to the box office performance of the film, which the company released simultaneously in theaters and on its streaming service Disney Plus, as we all know, for a $30 rental. The lawsuit states, quote, "In the months leading up to this lawsuit, Ms. Johansson gave Disney and Marvel every opportunity to right their wrong and make good on Marvel's promise. Disney intentionally induced Marvel's breach of the agreement without justification in order to prevent Ms. Johansson from realizing the full benefit of her bargain with Marvel," end quote. Disney said the lawsuit has, quote, "no merit whatsoever," and went on to state, quote, "The lawsuit is especially sad and distressing in its callous disregard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Disney has fully complied with Ms. Johansson's contract, and furthermore, the release of Black Widow on Disney Plus with Premier Access has significantly enhanced her ability to earn additional compensation on top of the $20 million she has received to date," end quote. After its release was delayed more than a year because of COVID-19, Black Widow debuted to a pandemic best of $80 million in North America and $78 million from international theaters 3 weeks ago, but theatrical grosses declined sharply after that. In its second weekend in release, the National Association of Theater Owners issued a rare statement criticizing the strategy, asserting that simultaneous release lends itself only to lost profits and higher quality piracy. Ooh, Patrick.
Boy, oh boy. A couple of things that are sticking out in my head right now are the phrases pandemic best. Don't love that. Don't love that phrase.
We're all operating on our pandemic best, Patrick.
Well, not all of us. Not all of us. Also, simultaneous release made me giggle a little bit.
Giggle?
Yep, absolutely. This is an interesting story, though. I'm torn on this one. I don't know whose side I'm on.
Listen, for me personally, Patrick, speaking on my own behalf.
Yes, Adam.
I gotta say, Disney, a contract's a contract. You gotta honor a contract. And it sounds like, Disney, you did Miss Johansson wrong.
I totally understand that, and I mean, let's side with women for sure, absolutely. But on the same side, I do understand their intention of, can we calm down a little bit because this is a pandemic, and we are doing our best to make sure that we're not just releasing people into the theaters unnecessarily. So I can see both sides.
I understand that, but that statement they released is cold. That's cold. It sounds like they're shaming her in a way, and it doesn't feel right to me. It makes me feel not good, Patrick.
That's fair. And if there's any emotions that are to be elicited from you, then they must be correct because they don't happen very often.
It's a very rare occurrence. Mark this date, everybody. But yeah, this is not looking good for Disney from a PR standpoint. Does that make sense? It just makes Disney look like a cold, kind of calculated business, which they probably are, let's face it. But it's not a good look.
It's not a good look. And who wants to pick a fight with Black Widow? I mean, come on.
She's a superhero, Patrick. She's an Avenger, Patrick.
Someone needs to avenge this movie, apparently.
I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to get a legal degree and make it happen.
While you're at it, can you create a contact lens that you can do computations with? See why I brought that back?
Nearly 2 years, yes, you heard that right, folks, 2 years after its original release date, we finally got to board Disney's latest attraction to live-action adaptation film, the Jungle Cruise last week. Patrick, how about that, huh?
All aboard. All aboard, everybody. Yeah, 2 years in the making, or 2 years in the releasing, I guess.
2 years in the waiting.
2 years in the waiting room.
But our ship came into port, and you know what that means? That means it's finally time for us to give our spoiler-free review of Disney's Jungle Cruise. And as a teaser, not only for this review, but also kind of in a way for me, Patrick was able to see the film first in the theaters, and here's the text I received last night. Quote, "More than any other movie, I am interested in what you think of Jungle Cruise," end quote.
I stand by it. I stand by my quote. We have not talked about it yet. Adam, you watched it a mere 3 hours ago, I believe.
Truer words were never spoken.
So it is fresh in your mind. It is fresh in my mind, but I've had some time to think about it as well. Some opinions have broadened and deepened, and some have changed. Some have changed.
Oh, well, I'm very excited to hear your take on the film. So as I mentioned, this will be spoiler-free. That means you do not need to worry that we're going to be dropping any major plot points. We may be talking about things you have already seen in the trailer or some of the more commonly known elements of the film. And we will, of course, be referencing things that happen on the actual attraction itself. So deal with that. But other than that, you are free from having this film spoiled for ya.
No spoilers for you, only objectifications of some of the delicious men that were in this movie.
Oh, Patrick.
Listen. I had some feelings about some of the men in this movie.
Well, let's start by giving a Cliff's Notes version of how we felt about the film before we move on to talk about the creative team behind the film, and then we'll kind of dive even deeper into those river waters, those murky river waters, Patrick.
You're just going all in on this, and I'm here for it. I appreciate it. Well, I'll start off by saying Rotten Tomatoes currently has the movie at 62%, which is not great. Not a great rating. Not terrible, but not a top-tier movie for Rotten Tomatoes. In fact, the critics' consensus reads, "Its craft isn't quite as sturdy as some of the classic adventures it's indebted to, but Jungle Cruise remains a fun, family-friendly voyage." Interesting. I tend to agree with that a little bit. I guess I'll start out by saying I liked this movie. I had a really good time with it. I thought it was fun. It was a good picture to go see with your friends and have a good time, have a drink, and watch just a fun movie. It didn't change my life by any stretch of the imagination. It made me feel a couple of things, and we'll talk about that later. But overall, I enjoyed the film.
I'm glad to hear that because I want you to enjoy things in your life, Patrick.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I also would say I have to believe it's probably a movie that you will like better in a movie theater, not at home.
I can speak a bit to that in a minute, but I think this will lead to a very dynamic discussion between the two of us, and it's been a while since we've kind of had differing feelings on a film, but this is just a bloated mess, in my opinion. And
wow. Okay.
Yes, is like an embarrassment of a film on Disney's behalf.
Oh my goodness, that is a bold statement. Okay, fair enough.
I could not get into any element of it aside from Emily Blunt's performance. She was trying hard and doing all of the heavy lifting in this film, and for a film where her co-star is The Rock, it seems like he would want to do some of that heavy lifting, but he didn't budge.
Fair enough. Yeah, Dwayne Johnson is a charming and affable person, and he is lovely to look at and watch on the screen. A good actor, though, he is not.
I agree, not a good actor, but even the charm, like, where was the charm? There was just none of it.
Oh, I disagree. I think that there were many moments where I really enjoyed his charismatic demeanor. I thought that actually played through for me.
Oh, I got no charisma from him. In fact, I couldn't tell if the director was asking him to subdue the character or what was going on, but it just was not playing well for me at all.
Okay, interesting.
And you mentioned seeing it in the theater, which maybe I should have done, but I had to watch it at home. And I gotta say, the special effects looked so poor on my television. I know that this is a film meant for the theater and like meant to be released in the theater, but eventually it would be watched on TV in some form if people enjoyed it in the theater. So I don't know if there's some kind of processing that didn't take place or if this is just the movie was the movie and that's it. But the special effects did not come across well on my TV.
Okay, I can't speak to that. I thought they were actually quite remarkable in the theater.
Interesting. So there must be something that like happens to benefit the film in the theater, or Is my TV just too good, Patrick? Do I have too good of a TV?
That must be it. That must be it. I will say, I imagine some of the parts you're talking about are maybe the animals within the movie. And my theory on this is they did look CGI because they are CGI, but they also sort of had an interesting parallel to the fact that the animals within the Jungle Cruise ride are also clearly not real animals. And so I feel like they went down this path of let's not make things too realistic. Let's make it fantastical and jokey a little bit, which sort of is in line with the actual attraction, the Jungle Cruise.
It wasn't just the animals. No, it was a lot of the special effects sequences where like there was action going on. Mm-hmm. It looked really misplaced to me. And I couldn't put my finger on like what was off, but there were definitely things that were off.
Okay, fair enough.
I guess I'd be interested to hear from our Tweedles. If you watched it at home, did you notice anything off with the special effects, or did you experience the film as Patrick did, where the special effects seemed very integrated into the story?
Okay, so we are already at a crossroads with this movie in some of the acting and the special effects. Adam is on the did not like it at all side, and I am on I enjoyed it side. Let's get into some of the people who are responsible for these opinions, Adam.
Let's do it. Let's start with a director who I was not familiar with much of his work, but the film was directed by Jaume Collet-Serra.
Yes, indeed.
More known for horror, actually.
Yes, this is very true. Very true.
But like I said, I was not familiar with a lot of his work. And so I don't know. Do I blame him for the bloat? Do I blame the writers for the bloat? Where's the bloat? Where's the bloat, Patrick?
This is going to be a 2-hour Adam hates this movie fest. So buckle up, everybody.
You know, normally I don't like to go negative on things, but this was just, it was not for me.
Fair enough. Moving on, we have writing partners who were responsible for the screenplay in Glenn Ficarra and John Requa, and both of them worked together on Bad Santa, Bad Santa 2, I Love You, Philip Morris, I love that movie, the new edition of The Bad News Bears, Cats and Dogs, and Angry Beavers. They work together quite often. I think they only work together, in fact.
What's Angry Beavers about?
Beavers who are upset, Adam, as you are about this movie.
Very upset, all riled up. I can't get over it, Patrick. Okay, so I really wasn't that familiar with the writer's work either, although I had seen I Love You, Philip Morris.
Yeah, they have kind of an eclectic breadth of work. They're mostly known for things that are a little bit more darker comedies, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. The Bad Santa films, I know a lot of people that really love those movies, and those definitely do have that kind of darker, kind of more cynical take.
Yes, indeed. So I think I know the answer, but what did you think of the script overall, the story behind the Jungle Cruise?
I thought it started off really promising, and then I was extremely disappointed in it.
Okay. Exactly what I thought you were going to say.
I know that sounds really repetitive, and I'm sorry for it, but it just seemed like there were too many story elements going on for me. Like it was just like one after another kept kind of being layered on. And I think they could have really pulled back and made this more of a smaller story with perhaps less of a focus on the supernatural, and it would have worked for me more.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. I can see that. There was a lot going on. I will agree with that for sure. I think that they were trying their hand at starting up a new franchise, really, and I can see that happening. I really want this to go in the direction of revitalizing, as we've talked many times on the podcast about the Adventurers Club, the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. And I have a sneaking suspicion that is where they're going to go with this, and this is just sort of the launching pad for it. I can see it going off in a million different directions, in fact. So I do appreciate that, but I can agree with you that there were like one or two too many elements in the movie.
Yeah, it felt like, we were getting homages, obviously, to the African Queen, which we talked about on this podcast as being an inspiration for the Jungle Cruise attraction in Disneyland and Walt Disney World. So there are nods to that, and there are references, it seems anyway, to franchises like Indiana Jones and the Pirates of the Caribbean. It seemed like there were a lot of references, and I don't know if that was intentional or not, but there were just maybe too many of those or too many nods to those films.
I actually appreciated that because the Jungle Cruise itself is a nod to a lot of different things. It's punny, it goes in different directions, it pulls in a lot of different story elements, and so I feel like they were just trying to mirror the ride a lot in the way that they were telling the story. At least that's what I pulled from it.
And see, apart from like the opening first few scenes, especially with Dwayne Johnson, the Jungle Cruise aspect of it really kind of melted away very quickly for me. To the point where I'd just say, just make it something else. Why does this have to be about the Jungle Cruise attraction or based on the Jungle Cruise attraction? Why can't this be its own thing,
I don't know what you're saying because they made a movie about the Jungle Cruise. So I'm confused about what you were saying.
But did they really? I mean, the first 20 minutes, maybe it's about the Jungle Cruise, but after that, it gets really kind of muddied to me and just becomes too fantastically messy. I don't know. It just didn't seem to retain the kind of magic or humor that the attraction has.
Gotcha. Okay, fair. That's fair.
Well, let's chat a bit about what were very successful elements in this film for you, Patrick. You were more entertained by the story, obviously, than I was. What really worked for you in this movie?
You know, I just really thought it was a fun adventure movie. I wasn't expecting it to be a deep tale. I don't know that I was expecting it to be anything more than it was. And I think that's why I enjoyed it. I just had a fun time with it. It felt like a quintessential summer blockbuster hit, if that makes sense. I know it's not going to be a hit to a lot of people, but I think that there have been quite a few movie releases already post-pandemic that are a little weightier, a little heavier, and this was a nice relief, a nice reprieve from that. I didn't need it to be an Academy Award-winning movie, right? I just wanted it to be something fun. Kind of like, and I know this, you can't really compare because Pirates of the Caribbean, the movie, is really epic and beautiful and had a lot of great care that went into it. And I'm not saying that people didn't care about this movie, but to compare it to that, it's a fun movie. There's nothing really that I need to move me, if that makes sense. I just wanted to be entertained, and I was.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think you can also make a comparison to Pirates of the Caribbean without like feeling weird about it. I think there's two very beloved attractions there, and we all know that Pirates was a huge success. You know, there's been like, what, 5 sequels now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a monster success, and it kind of came out of nowhere too. So I think that people may want to compare it a little unfairly to Pirates in that respect, in those regards. And so I'm inclined to just sort of separate the two and judge this on its own merits, if that makes sense.
It was hard for me to not see Pirates in this film, but I get what you're saying. I could not do it. I could not separate the two films. What else really spoke to you in the movie?
Like I said, I don't know that anything is like speaking to me in this movie. I just enjoyed it. I just didn't hate it like you did. So I just liked the movie. I liked the performances. I thought they were fun. I thought they were quirky. I didn't love Dwayne Johnson's performance so much. I didn't mind him in the movie. I feel like he was a good fit for this character for sure. He just didn't really deliver for me the caliber of performance that the other actors in the film were capable of.
And what did you think about Ms. Emily Blunt?
I really loved her. I thought she looked like she was having fun during the movie. I know that sounds like, oh, you looked like you were having fun. You were in a play. But she seemed to be really in her element in this movie in a way that she hasn't been before. It was fun to see her in an action role, which we don't get to see from her very often.
Yeah, I agree. She's fantastic, and she was definitely the highlight of the film for me. Leading up to the film, Disney's kind of marketing machine had been selling the chemistry between Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt, and I guess there were moments, but overall it just didn't really seem to connect for me. Emily Blunt really seemed to be kind of doing the work to kind of make that happen, or at least that's the impression I got.
That's fair. One thing I will say that I did not like was that, and this isn't too much of a spoiler, I think we all knew it was going to happen, but the sort of the romance that was budding between the two characters, I didn't need it. I felt like that has been done. That's been told before. We don't need that element in this movie. So I wish that they had gone away from that.
Yeah, it seemed a little obvious, seemed a little forced at times, but it's one of those tropes, one of those like classic tropes. And going back to like referencing the African Queen, that was such a huge part of that movie. And so if they were kind of keying into that classic film, that's probably what they were kind of nodding to.
Oh, 100%. That's what they were doing. I just didn't need it. I just didn't need it in the movie. I think that we are in a day and age where a romance between a man and a woman in a setting like this is just, it's been told, it's been done. We don't need it anymore. I think we're smarter than that now, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's talk about Jack Whitehall, because there was a lot of controversy years before the film was released about the character he was playing. There were comments being thrown around the internet that the character was effeminate and that it would come across as a stereotype. In the movie, Jack Whitehall plays Emily Blunt's brother. His name is McGregor. How did you feel that character came off?
I'm really torn about this because I really enjoyed his performance. I can't really find a flaw in what he brought to the table, if that makes sense. And I'm not mad that he was feminine and a gay character, because there are feminine gay men out there. But there are also feminine straight men out there. So I don't know that I needed that character to be gay. On the flip side, I am glad that they actually took a heavier swing than they ever have before in presenting a gay character and really letting us know that he is a gay character.
Yeah, they really seem to lean into it more this time. I don't think there needed to be such an uproar prior to the release, or at least I didn't see anything in his performance that like made me question this straight man in real life playing a gay man on screen. You know, there wasn't like any kind of insensitivity taken with it. So I thought that was successful. Jack Whitehall's performance as a whole, or maybe it was the way the character was written, it just didn't grab me. It didn't I didn't feel invested in the character. Does that make sense?
It does, in that I know what you're saying, but I don't agree with you. So it does make sense. I actually really liked him. I thought that he brought some really lovely moments, and he brought a different level in that triad of characters, I guess. I really liked his chemistry with Emily Blunt. They had a wonderful brother-sister relationship, I thought. So I am on the other side of that.
Yeah, they do have a really nice kind of sweet moment in the film, that's for sure. Yeah, it just didn't I don't know. I guess I was expecting more. Maybe I wanted it to go even further than what it was, or maybe I was expecting it to be more of a feminine take on a gay man. I don't know, Patrick. It just didn't quite grab me as I thought it was going to.
What do you think you wanted from it that you weren't getting, I think is the question at hand.
I guess more snap from the character. Like I wanted more of a bite to him. And it was reading more as kind of relaxed. I wanted him more on his toes.
See, that's actually why I liked it better, I think. I didn't need it to be a sassy gay man, right? I appreciated that he was just a softer man. And I think that read well. I would have actually been more offended had he been sassy and quippy the entire time. I would have been bored by that because we've seen that so many times.
To me, it felt like his character didn't match the energy of the film.
Okay. I disagree with you, but okay.
I guess that's the clearest way I can state it.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes total sense in what you're saying. And I guess, again, I'll reiterate, I think that I really enjoyed his level because it brought a different level to the movie. It brought it down and softer a little bit, where we're getting action after action after action scene. And when he was on screen, it felt like we could slow down and breathe a smidge. So those three characters, as we said, are sort of the triad, the people who are moving the ship along, as it were, Adam. The rest of the cast, Paul Giamatti was in the film. He had a smaller role. What did you think of him?
He was Italian and fiery.
I think I'm going to stop asking questions because the answer is always going to be I hated it from you today.
He was fine. He wasn't given much to work with. He was, as you said, a smaller character in the film, and he was a very passionate competitor to Dwayne Johnson's boat service.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. I thought he was fun. I really enjoyed his performance. He didn't, as you said, have a lot to do, but it was fun to see him in a movie like this as well. He also doesn't do a lot of action movies, and so it was interesting to see him out of his element and doing something like this. And we have to give a nod to his bird, Rosita, which is a nod to the Enchanted Tiki Room.
Yeah, a lot of kind of like Easter eggy stuff pulled from the attraction, including all of the puns that we've been trying to keep up with in this episode, and a lot of little nods to characters within the attraction itself.
Yeah, lots of nods to the Magic Kingdom, even to Disney in and of itself. Lots of puns, lots of direct references as well.
It was really fun having those references built into the movie because a lot of Jungle Cruise diehard fans of the attraction will really love seeing those in the movie.
For sure. I bet there are so many that you would have to watch the movie a million times to really catch every single thing that they added into the film. That's for sure. That's one thing we agree on today, Adam. Look at us.
There it is. We found it. The one single thing we agree on.
We did it. We did it. So, $1 million question for you then, I guess. Was there anything that you did like about the movie?
I did like Emily Blunt. I thought she was really giving it her all and succeeding at it. And like you said, having a lot of fun with it. And as I said earlier, the premise itself, at least the way they were setting it up early in the film, seemed really promising. And I really loved what they were doing with women's place in society at that time. I thought that was a really nice little element they added to the film. Mm-hmm. But I just had such a hard time, Patrick, and I felt so let down. Like, it just felt like too much going on, too many story elements, too much CGI. It was just really too much for me.
Okay. I like that I asked you what you liked and you turned it into what you hated.
I covered the two things that I liked, and then I'm sorry, I know it really makes me sound very curt, and I hate sounding that way, but this was just not a good movie for me.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't pull that from what you said already.
I know.
This is brand new information.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to be sorry. You didn't like the film, and that's totally fine. That's why we do these reviews.
That's why I'm a noted film critic around the world.
That's right. Tens of people listen to you and your opinions.
Well, do we leave it at that, Patrick? You are in this film's corner. I am not in this film's corner. Do we leave it to our tweedles to reach out to us and let us know their thoughts and feelings about the Jungle Cruise?
Sure, why ever not? Yeah, there's a lot more to talk about the movie, but we would be giving away a lot of the plot lines, I think, that happen. And even in talking about some of the characters that I did enjoy, we would be giving away some secrets that you wouldn't know about by just watching the trailers. So it's hard to talk too much more about the plot and a lot of the performers. So yeah, I think this was an interesting conversation in that we were on very polar opposite ends of this movie. I'm not saying that it was my favorite movie or my favorite live action movie, but I liked it. I just had a good time with it and didn't expect too much. And it sounds like you maybe had higher hopes than I did for it and were let down in that.
Absolutely true. Yeah. Higher hopes in the sense that I actually wanted less from the film than they were giving us.
Fair enough. And I appreciated that they gave us a lot to work with, because I think that we have a lot to go forward with in stories, hopefully, fingers crossed, about the SEA.
I'd love some films about sea, but maybe we just move on from the Jungle Cruise experience.
All right. We are not going to get an ounce of joy out of Adam today, so we probably should end this segment.
Let's do it. And that means, Tweedles, it's time for you to reach out to us. As I said, please do so by contacting us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast.
Or you can reach out to us via voice memo or email at info@gaysdothed.com. And don't be afraid of giving us your true opinions. Even though we are on polar opposite ends, we will not shame you for liking or disliking this movie. So I have to ask, Adam, will you be giving this movie a rewatch to see if you maybe were in a bad mood, or are you just setting fire to your television right now?
Well, I was in a great mood when it started.
Okay.
And then I just kind of slowly went down from there. No, I'd be willing to give it a rewatch, absolutely, but I may need a decade or two, just like as a breather.
Fair. I was in a good mood when we started this segment, and now it went downhill from there.
Classic Adam. That's what I do.
Oh, Eeyore. Hey, Adam.
Hey, Patrick.
The cruise ship has docked. It is time, Adam, to shut this episode down with some Quick D. Are you ready for some Quick D, Adam?
I'm ready and willing and, in fact, able.
Fantastic. This week we are doing Quick D Classic, everybody. For those who are new to Gaze Do the D, Quick D is where Adam and I ask each other a question we have not been privy to prior to recording, and then wrap ourselves in cellophane and throw peanut butter at each other. Wait, that's not right, is it?
I mean, we've never done it that way in the past, but I'm willing to try anything.
Let's give it a go. Let's see what happens. That'll be good podcasting. It's just the visual of throwing peanut butter at each other.
May I ask a favor of you, though?
You may.
I like to keep my peanut butter low in sugar, so if you could use like Justin's or some kind of stirred almond butter situation, I would appreciate that.
I'm going to use very natural peanut butter, so it'll be in the fridge and a little hardened, like a snowball.
I'm kind of into it. It's like exfoliating just a smidge.
Those oils, though, I like it. Those natural oils.
So good for your tummy and your skin.
Delicious. Adam, would you like to ask me my question first, or shall I go and ask you a question first?
I'll ask you my question first.
Let's do it. Throw it at me.
Controversy in the Disney community. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those harmonious barges.
The Transformers, you mean?
The Transformers in the World Showcase Lagoon. That's right, folks. If you have not seen pictures or been to Walt Disney World to experience them yourself, there are giant metal barges now installed in World Showcase Lagoon for Harmonious, which will be the new nighttime fireworks spectacular at Epcot beginning October 1st. Patrick, the Harmonious barges are fountains during the daytime.
Indeed. Is that my question? Yes. The answer is yes.
Not your question, but thank you for answering. Patrick, there are some people that are upset with the Harmonious daytime fountain mode. They feel it doesn't obscure the barges enough.
Yes, fair enough.
So Disney Imagineering has come to you, my friend, to figure out how they can obscure those barges further. Fountains are off. Patrick, how are they going to obscure those barges from daytime viewers?
I think that they're actually not going to obscure them anymore. They're actually going to shift in a different direction, Adam, and turn them into t-shirt cannons instead.
Everybody wants that.
Who doesn't want to be just, drinking one of those delicious France frosés, maybe, and then getting just launched in the face by a t-shirt?
Fully to the face.
Yes, absolutely.
30 miles an hour or over.
That's right. And I will be operating them, so you're going to get hit in the nards a couple times as well.
I love this for you. Fast pass to you operating the Harmonious barge t-shirt cannons.
That's absolutely correct. And the t-shirts are going to be like those old 80s posters, like a cat hanging from a rope that says, "Hang in there."
So not Disney related at all.
Not maybe it'll be the Cheshire Cat. Maybe it'll be like Disney characters in those kind of posters.
Okay, I was going to say, because otherwise you're getting whacked in the face by something completely unrelated to Disney. Is that what people are paying for?
It's just old stuff from cast members' closets that they're trying to get rid of, and they're just launching it at people.
Yep, it's the old cast member lost and found items.
That's right. It's not so much a goodwill as a good won't. Really.
I think this is great. I think this is upcycling.
That's right. Why try to hide what you don't like? Just show it off, everybody. Show off your flaws. Make your flaws into ahs,
Oh, or ows.
Oh, so there we go. T-shirt cannons coming at you from the barges at World Showcase Lagoon.
Great idea, Patrick.
You're all over the map with that. Great idea, question mark. Great idea, exclamation mark. Great idea in general. Well done me, I think. Well done me.
I'm convinced. I think I'm convinced this could really work and be so successful for Disney and completely distract from those barges.
I want it to happen during Run Disney too, when you're on that final lap, just getting hit in the buddies with the t-shirt.
It would at least inspire you to run faster, would it not? To kind of dodge the t-shirts flying at your face or other parts of your body.
There you go. It turns into a little bit of a dodgeball situation.
All right, Patrick, where's my question? Where is it?
It's coming at you. It's happening right now. Adam, Disney isn't the only one that Scarlett Johansson is suing this week. She's also suing Gaze Do the D. Why, Adam? List the reasons why Scarlett Johansson is suing Gaze Do the D.
How dare she?
How dare we, maybe.
Perhaps it was our fault. Yeah. Litigation will decide. Well, we did receive the court documents. Is that what they're called? I don't know. We received the documents notifying us that we are being sued by Scarlett Johansson, and she is suing us, firstly, Patrick, for the fact that we look better in a Black Widow one piece than she does.
The photos have surfaced. She is upset about it.
Anyone can find them online, and we, frankly, look stunning in those super tight Black Widow action outfits, and she's upset that we showed her up.
Do you know what I'm really excited about? I'm really excited about the fan art that might happen.
Tributes, you mean?
Please, someone make that for us.
Our stunning good looks in those Lycra bodysuits. Can you imagine?
I am, and it's upsetting.
Upsetting enough that Scarlett Johansson would sue us, yes. She's also suing us for tag teaming her beau, Colin Jost.
Oh, boy. Fact. But, we turned a corner here at Gaze Do the D.
Should we make the announcement now, Patrick?
I think you just did.
But there's more.
Uh-oh.
We, too, are pregnant with Colin Jost's baby.
We were simultaneously pregnant.
He's our baby's daddy. It's true. And lastly, she's suing us for copyright infringement. Patrick, yes, it's true, because both Patrick and I have adopted her little side mouth smirk that she does in all of her films.
But we only do it on the podcast, so it's a really weird gray area in suing. She can just tell that we're doing it.
She can hear it, Patrick. We're doing that little side mouth smile that she does when she's being coy, and she can hear it on the podcast.
It's oh so cute when she does it, but it's oh so sexy when we do it.
Say that, Patrick. Say that. There you have it. 3 actions she's taking against us, all of them unwarranted.
I mean, were they unwarranted? The things we did to Colin Jost. They were horrendous.
That will do it for this episode of Gays Do the D. Thanks for listening. To become a patron of the podcast, visit our website at gaysdothed.com/donate. For a donation of any amount, you can receive exclusive Gays Do the D content and help us continue to bring you the very best Disney news and discussion. Continue the conversation after this episode on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast, and submit your questions or show ideas to info@gaysdothed.com. Have a great week, everybody. See you real soon.